Okay, I wanted to do a video and show an update on what's going on in the Hightunnel. I turned the fan off and it's getting pretty warm in here right now. So I'm going to do this quick so I can turn the fan back on. It's 73 degrees outside without the fan on. It's already over 90 in here. So anyways, these are tomatoes. I started all these in the Hightunnel. They have made it in the Hightunnel with supplemental heat through our Minnesota winters at 10 below. It was 10 below or colder some nights, and they've done just fine. One of the problems we've had is one day we didn't open up we were shearing sheep and totally forgot about the Hightunnel. It was just busy. And now we have heat damage, and some of these are still covering. They'll do fine. But that's what happens when we didn't get the Hightunnel open fast enough. Okay, so it's kind of how much we have things on the floor, things down here. I have things on the water barrel behind me. I have things in pots underneath. These are more tomatoes and tomatillos. Those really need to go in the ground. But, so these are squash down here, zucchini, and more tomatoes. And let's see. Ooh. Some tomatoes I put in really big pots, which is working clearly. The keep planting a tomato deeper so that its roots become more established. It'll develop roots all the way up the stem and become a stronger plant. More tomatoes. This is started basil. I had started basil, and anyways, I didn't give it the attention it needed, so I'm just like, I don't know. Anyways, these are melons, a whole bunch of melons. Some of these, I had like this empty spot right here. Before they had germinated, I had put another tray on top of it and forgotten about it and left it on, and plants germinated and then just got super long and leggy. So I pulled all those up because those do not make healthy plants and replanted them. So now I'm still waiting for this empty spot. But darkness in plants, the plants grow faster in darkness than they do in light because they're searching for light, and that's what happened. So those are all pulled up and being redone. I have squash finally starting to germinate. It's buttercup squash. This is spaghetti squash. These are two heirloom plants. I'm trying Guatemala blue banana and a dostal cucumber. It's a varieties of squash. These are more cucumbers. Lots of cucumbers. More tomatoes. I have an heirloom cucumber down there. It's a lemon cucumber. Let's see. These are Brussels sprouts. In the future, I think I'll do those a little differently here. I don't know, not looking very happy, not as happy as I'd like. Anyways, so down here I have sunflowers growing, and those are starting to germinate. Nasturtiums, more tomatoes. This empty spot was cabbage. I went and planted all of that outside. I have more cabbage getting ready to go out. Pak choy and radicchio, although I won't be doing those little tiny trays. See how small? I didn't really care for that. I'm gonna redo that. Anyways, these are tomatoes. This is kind of these were some of the first tomatoes I started again. These went through the winter inside Hightunnel, but look how big those are. I just kept putting them in bigger pots, and it's May 16th and those tomatoes are huge already. So actually, oh look, It's got a little bit of a blossom. That's what happens when you leave things in pots. I'll pick those off. Plant will develop better roots if you pick off the flowers in pots. We'll put it in the ground and pick all the flowers off, so it spends its energy making roots and not flowers. More tomatoes, more tomatoes. Oh, I had radish in all these, and I harvested what I could, and this is left over. I need to dump this out, but this kind was French breakfast, and this kind was cherry bell over here. Cherry bell, French breakfast. And this one I got about 90% of them were good enough to eat. This one, I don't know, 75% on this one. This kind was a giant white radish, and those did not do anything, so I would not try those in pots again. This was too big of a radish, I think. This one was a small radish that was more narrow and long, and I think that's why that did the best. And this was a small radish also, and it did fine, but not nearly as well as the small and long. Okay, so let's see. Broccoli. More tomatoes. Tomatillos. More tomatoes. There's lots of flowers on the floor, on the ground too. I have squash. I'm still waiting for that to germinate. Those were the last ones planted, so let's see. This tray, I accidentally dropped it last night and pretty much spilled every single one of them. So I'll try to rehabilitate that, but I don't know, we'll see what happens. And then, let's see, that's a mystery tray. I cannot remember if I just filled it or if I filled it and planted it with soil. So I keep watering it, and if nothing germinates, some of the seed is so little sometimes it doesn't matter how much you dig around and things. You're just not going to find it. Let's see. And that's my workspace. It's kind of covered in tomatoes right now. Alright, and that's that. My water jug, my coffee, and everything. So I need to turn the fan back on because it is hot in here. And that happens very quickly without the fan moving the air. So, alright, leave a comment. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, and I will try to get back and answer them. This is gardening on a little over an acre scale, starting all our plants ourselves in Zone 3 in Hightunnels. And yeah, just leave me questions or comments. Thanks.